first part of the project was obviously cutting up the boards, getting them ready to glue. We're going to skip all that and just jump right to the layout here. And then a lot of sanding. I did do the step where I cut a stripe across the board and laid in a little mahogany. Once I had the whole board up to a really nice 320 grit finish, I put my maker's mark on it with a little burn unit that I have. I love this thing. If it works well, it's really, I think, quite beautiful. And then proceeded to put some tung oil on this, since this would be a tray that would be holding food. And again, always try to use something that's food safe, doesn't have any other chemicals in it. Mild risk to nut allergies with this oil, but it does leave a beautiful finish. After I got the board finished, I realized it was going to be inside a display case, and so I thought it would be nice to put a little feature on the back of it to make it easier to pull out, especially if it had food or other things on it. So I decided to add a little stripe of mahogany to the back that was a little bit proud of the original surface, so that if you were trying to move it with your fingers, you would have something to catch on. The second part of the project was a stand for the display case, and what I wanted to do with this is again use kind of a cutting board build up for the material, but since the edge of this would be the part that was seen the most, I decided to cut the boards at an angle of about 15 degrees just to provide a little bit of detail when looking at the edge of the board. So a bit like a Roman arch, if you will, with a keystone in the middle of the hard maple and then the other boards to the side. An obvious issue is trying to glue up something with an angle in it, as shown in that previous image. So one trick that you do is, I'm using angle iron here, and you essentially clamp the edges so that they can't move up or down. Provide a little bit of pressure, not enough that you can't then squeeze the rest of the boards together, and then kind of work around the glue up and clamp everything together. Skip over the traditional sanding part of it, but you can see here I went through a number of sheets and steps to get it to the final finish. And now starting to work on the legs. So I didn't want to use screws or nails or any kind of mechanical fastener, so I decided to attach the legs using 1-inch diameter mahogany posts. So I made those out of some scrap wood I had. After the dry fit up, before I glued everything, I realized as smooth as the posts were and the holes, I wanted to rough up the wood a bit just to give the glue some purchase. So I just used a triangle file and essentially cut some grooves and some slots into the sides of the posts to make the gluing process a little bit more secure. So despite all the sanding you might do with an orbital sander or a random motion sander, the edge of the board, especially some of the wood, really picks up marks from the circular saw or the table saw that you use. So I wanted to spend a few extra minutes, really sand that again to a finer grit, just to make sure that that edge detail was going to be smooth and clean and very pleasant to the touch. And before the glue up, I wanted to stain a few of the parts just to make sure that I'd get good color right to the edges before we assembled everything. So once the glue up was complete, the posts were a little proud of the surface, which was by design so that I could use a zero kerf saw here and cut them flush before applying final staining. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. And remember, live for today, but build for tomorrow.